Shoot your shot. Shoot your shot.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Shoot Your Shot podcast.
Hello.
I'm your host, Claire.
And I'm Georgia.
And today we are interviewing the beautiful co-host, Georgia Fowkes.
Stop it.
So excited for you guys to get to know her a little bit better because I absolutely adore you and you have an amazing story and so much cool stuff going on for you. So this is exciting. We get to talk about you.
I know, my favorite thing. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
No, but this is exciting because we want people to know a little bit more about where you come from and why you are a worthy host, because you know so much about the industry and you have so much to share. And we have so much to learn about you, from you, with you.
You're so sweet.
I'm like writing a poem right now.
I was going to say, am I
it's
tearing
like a
up?
song. With you, without you, for you.
I like that song. With you, you're my boo. Or how's it go?
I don't know what song that is.
Yeah, I don't think I do either, actually. I think I totally did that in the wrong way.
Anyways, moving on. So, first things first.
Okay.
We need to start from the very beginning. Who are you? Where are you from? You know, give us a little insight.
What's your age? What's your kick?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Social security number.
Credit card. No. Okay, so I am originally from Pittsburgh, a little East Coast girl.
Whoop, whoop.
I live in LA now. I moved to LA maybe 5 years ago now. But I lived my whole life in Pittsburgh. Yeah, I actually love Pittsburgh. I just wish that it was warm. It's very cold. I don't like the cold.
I feel that.
Off to a great start. Just
You
kidding.
guys will see that we're just dumb and dumber,
Yeah,
to be
really.
honest.
Literally, Claire's looking at me like, wait, what's the next question? Okay, let me give you a little bit more into that.
Yeah,
so that way
tell us like, okay, so you're from Pittsburgh. You grew up there. You've been in LA for 4 years. You're now a full-time creative and business owner.
Yes.
How did you go from Pittsburgh to LA? What's the synopsis?
Yes. Okay. So, whole life lived in Pittsburgh. In terms of like my creative journey, I started out in front of the camera acting. I would always go on the little Greyhound bus to New York City with my mom or my friend's mom, because he was also into acting. And we would do not like any crazy like childhood star kind of gigs, but I was on one of those CSI as the girl that got kidnapped.
Wait, that's so sick. Can we like find these episodes? Can we
Yes,
link
there's
them?
there's somewhere in the vault.
Baby Georgia getting kidnapped.
Yeah, it's like one of those like news specials where you like just see me like getting grabbed and
No
like
way.
and
That's so cool. How old were you?
I think I was maybe like 11 or 12.
Oh, okay.
I think it was somewhere around there.
You would go on a Greyhound bus by yourself?
No, at that point I would either have my mom. I forget if I had my mom or my friend's mom with me for that.
Okay.
It wasn't until I was like 16 where I would go on the Greyhound more by myself.
Wow.
I'm such a rebel. Just kidding.
Love it.
But no, I knew I always wanted to be in the entertainment industry, so that was kind of like my first taste of it by doing acting, and I love acting. Acting's like my biggest passion in life.
Were you freelancing or were you with a what are those things, like SAG? I don't know anything about acting, so.
I was freelancing, so I wasn't with like,
Freelancing,
I didn't have an agent, didn't have a manager.
Okay. Oh wow. How are you getting these auditions?
You know, I think at that point in time, that's a good question. I think at that point of time,
It's like radio castings.
no, I think it was like, I remember, this is so weird now that I'm thinking about it. It was on television.
Oh.
I would see these like agencies and these New York things, and I was like, oh, I want to do that. And I would have my mom, go online and look to see what castings there were, and she would help me submit to stuff. Like we would just send an email or like a Facebook message to these random casting directors.
Whoa, okay.
And I mean, like now that probably sounds so sketchy because of how things work, but back then
And you were 11.
I was 11.
That's insane.
But it worked. Like,
Yeah.
it was super legit. It just wasn't, I guess, the norm for today. Like today you have like agents and emails. Back then it was like a little Facebook DM. Like, yeah, come be the girl that got kidnapped in our show. Sounds really sketchy.
That's so funny. Okay, so you basically have a background in acting. How did that develop into content creation and the business that you now have?
Yeah, so kind of spent the first part of my journey acting, fell in love with it. In high school, I did an internship in Pittsburgh that kind of just did everything behind the camera. So, directing, producing, editing, sound, lighting, crafty, like how to do crafty on sets.
That's your favorite thing about the podcast.
I do.
You're so good at crafty.
I do love doing. I literally, in case anyone's wondering, right before we started this, I Uber Eats like water and chips.
Okay,
and
but not
snacks.
just chips.
Like
This bitch came with like, ordered like basically a Costco bag of chips where it's like
really big.
65 bags of chips.
As they were looking at it in
For,
the
like,
corner right
3
now,
guests.
it's like covering the whole half of our mirror.
It's huge.
It is huge.
She's great at crafty. Meanwhile, I'm like, oh, it's fine. If people are thirsty, they can go to the sink in the bathroom.
Yeah,
And you're
literally.
like, we need like an entire
entire
crafty.
like beverage bar or something.
You're really good at producing though.
I
which
do
we'll
love
get into
producing.
that, but that's a your talent skill. Anyways,
Thanks, Claire. But no, so I did the internship, learned basically everything behind the camera because I was like, what goes on behind there? Like I'm in front of it. I like seeing how people just work together as a team to bring something to life visually. And I just wanted to know more. I was just like hungry to know more about everything in the entertainment industry. So I think I spent about 4 years at that internship throughout high school and just was like a sponge. I absorbed like literally everything and tried out every possible thing, even the stuff that I was like, this is horrible.
but that's awesome because that probably gave you not only so much knowledge on the film industry from the very get-go, but it probably made you really good at all these different skill sets that you now use, I would assume, in your business, because you were able to like handle every part of film production versus just focusing on one aspect. Like tell us how that helped you moving forward.
Yeah, so I guess I didn't realize at the time what I was doing. Like I knew I wanted to absorb it all, but I guess, now that you say it, it's kind of what's molded me into what I'm able to do today because I have to do so many different things since now today I started a company. But before that happened, that internship was amazing. Loved it. Shout out Steeltown Entertainment if you're still there in Pittsburgh. But then I had like kind of a whole, like mental shift. I was going to either move straight to LA or go to college. And I had, in our high school, we had kind of like a program where you could take a college class before you went. And it was specific to my major that I went for, entertainment management. So when I was a senior in high school, we had an SAM, Sports Arts Entertainment Management class. And I took it, and the professors at the college I went to, Point Park, taught that class in our high school. So I became really close with them. They were great mentors. So I kind of had this shift where I was like, okay, entertainment management, that encompasses more than just film. It encompasses music. And I love music. And I was like, what can I do with music if I'm not a singer? Because I sound so horrible singing. Like if I, in a different world, I would love to be like the Taylor Swift where I'm just on stage, like killing it.
I can see that.
But I suck at singing. So like, that's just not going to ever work for me. I think I even took singing lessons and the woman was like,
Wait, actually?
Yeah.
No way.
Well, so I guess I have kind of like a raspier voice. So the singing lesson girl was like, oh yeah, like if you get like in there, like really like, like if you like really take hold of your raspiness, you could have like a old jazz girl type voice. And I was like, oh yeah, like hyping me up. And I was like, like I would like go into these classes and like literally go like, oh, big wheels keep on turning.
Are you guys hearing this? This is amazing. Wait, how long did you take singing lessons for?
It was only like 2 months because my throat started hurting.
Oh my God. It was all the raspiness.
It was. I actually don't think
Too much rasp.
I actually don't think I've ever told someone that. I forgot that happened.
That's so funny.
It was really fun, but I was just like, I don't think I want to be this like girl. I don't think that's my calling.
Girl.
Yeah. So with that, I was like, yeah, there's nothing for me in the music industry. I can't sing. Like, fuck this. What am I gonna do? But with those, with that class, SAM, Sports Arts Entertainment Management, the professors that came, they taught us there was this whole other world where you could like produce concerts, be a tour manager, be like a tour coordinator.
They were teaching this at school?
Oh yeah.
That's so crazy.
Like event facility management.
I didn't even know that was an actual thing that you would learn. You could learn at school.
Yeah.
So cool.
Well, so that was in my high school class. So then that just like really intrigued me. So I basically went from like being a sponge for the film industry to I was like, well, now I want to be a sponge for the music industry. Like that kind of semi combines that producing, directing element that I loved with the film, but now with another thing I love, music. Like how cool, right? So I decided to go to Point Park in Pittsburgh. The people that I had there as my professors were like probably like some of the best mentors that I think I've had to this day in my life. Like they're just amazing. I think I go and get coffee with them all the time.
Oh, cute.
Like update them on like all my like love story, guy drama,
No way.
LA living drama. Like it's,
Wait, I love that.
they've like become like my kind of like life therapist. But in college, since I discovered this music world, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to college. I love acting, but I know that I need to be a little bit more like financially stable to kind of do what I want to do with that. Cause like I don't come from somebody like a family that will just send me to LA and pay for everything so I can just go on auditions and just make it happen.
Oh, you had to actually work hard?
I know, crazy, right? I know. So I was like, okay, this could be something that I do for right now until I can get into the acting world. So when I went to college, I was like, I want to produce music festivals. I want to move to LA by the end of college, produce music festivals. And that's just what I want to do. Like at that point in my life, I was like, this is my passion. So the second year into college, I kind of did that. I was in like all of these little Pittsburgh internships with Heinz Field for the Steelers, Sony Music as like a college ambassador rep.
Nice.
Like a bunch of small little local record labels in Pittsburgh. And then I was in like the event side of college. So I kind of was just like doing it all. And I was like, I love this. I want more of it. And then from there, I don't know, it kind of gets a little bit like weirdly crazy, but I moved to LA shortly after the second year of college, but was like half living in LA and half living in Pittsburgh. I don't know, that's kind of like me up until college right now.
So how did you even end up in LA?
Second year, or actually end of first year of college, I was loving the music industry and I found this internship. I think my friend actually maybe showed it to me. And it was with the Television Academy Foundation. And for anybody who doesn't know them, in short, they kind of work with the Emmys. Like they're kind of like the big dogs for the television industry. And I think I applied for the talent agency side of this internship. And it was a very competitive internship. Like thousands and thousands of people were applying. And I was like, oh, you know what? Fuck it. Like I'm just going to do it. Let's see what happens. And I made it to like the final round and I was like, oh, this could actually like work. Like I didn't think that it would work.
Yeah.
Because also you had to be a senior in college to apply to this. So I kind of like, I didn't lie, but I kind of like didn't fully tell the truth because I really wanted to go to LA. I was just so like eager to be in LA.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting the internship and they like took me to LA, paid for me to be there for the summer to do this internship.
Wow, so cool.
And I felt like that was kind of like my first taste of a like big break. Cause like little like first grade Georgia who always wanted to go to LA was just like bright eyed and like, oh my God, everything's amazing. I'm in LA. Like this is great. Even though like my living conditions just were horrible and just so funny. It was really great. So I worked there at a talent agency for the summer. I had to go back to Pittsburgh to finish college. And kind of from there, I just missed LA so much that at this time I was like a typical girl. Like I fell in love with like a surfer dude in California. He let me live with him rent free. That sounds so horrible, but
I love it.
So I would kind of like, I was dating him and I would go back to LA, live with him. And while I was there, I applied for jobs with Insomniac. And at the time, I didn't realize how big Insomniac was in California. I was just like, yeah, I had no idea.
For those who don't know, Insomniac puts on like EDC and basically all of the EDM festivals on the West Coast.
Yeah. So I didn't really know this because I was very familiar with like all of the East Coast festivals, companies. Obviously like Insomniac is part of Live Nation, so I knew that, but I just wasn't really aware of how like obsessed people in LA are with Insomniac, which is kind of funny and very like, I don't know, oblivious of me.
It's a very West Coast thing.
Yeah, it is. I did that and I applied for a bunch of jobs with them. They wanted to keep bringing me on festival after festival as like a freelancer. And they didn't know that I was still living in Pittsburgh doing college. So I would fly like every other weekend from Pittsburgh to LA.
Wow.
To work these festivals.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was.
And you were still finishing school at this point?
Yeah, so after my internship with the Television Academy, I had to go back. Like I had classes in person, so I tried to I told my mom I need to drop out, I need to move to LA, or I need to do something, I need to change my major and go online. But it was just way too much money to do that, and I don't know. I did enjoy what I was learning in college. Like I didn't want to not do it, but I had to I had to work this job in LA. Like I would not be happy if I didn't. So I would leave Fridays, like really early in the morning, or Thursdays overnights, land in LA, go work these festivals all weekend, and then fly back and make it to my 8 a.m. on Monday.
No way. Guys, this is like the definition of a hustler. This is what you do when you're passionate about something in life.
Or just like psychotic.
I mean, maybe that too. I think it's beautiful.
Well, thank you.
I think it's great. I mean, also to be so young and know that you're passionate about something and fully send it and pursue it, even with having to be in college full time. I think it's awesome.
I think about it now, and I remember my one professor, she just did not like that I was doing that. And everybody in my college and even the professors that I'm friends with knew that she just did not like that I was doing that, because she was just very conditional and or not conditional, conventional. And she just wanted me to finish college, then go do the job.
Okay, well, ma'am, that's not how dreams are achieved.
So I was like, I'm literally going to college for the job that I'm kind of getting offered right now.
Yeah.
I can still do both. So I would always just show up in her 8 a.m. Literally from the airport, in airport clothes, and just go to present a presentation. And honestly, I would kill it. Not to hype myself up, but I would kill it. But that made her even more mad, because she wanted me to not do well so she could use me flying to these festivals as an excuse.
Wow.
So it was kind of funny.
What a bitch.
I know. Oh, I hope, I'm don't listen. No, but I wish her nothing but love and success. But whatever, I remember that.
The first hater.
I know. Hashtag our first hate follow. But no, that was crazy. I essentially, long story short, worked with Insomniac for about 4 or 5 years. Kind of had a producer role with them, specifically in their VIP area. So I would help just produce the VIP area for every festival, EDC, Countdown, Beyond, just all of those. And I think...
you know what's crazy is that I went to all those festivals at the same time.
Really?
We were probably there at the same time. We probably have walked past each other.
Oh my, we'll have to go in our photo album, type in the years and see my perspective at Beyond or 100%. EDC or whatever in yours.
Yeah, because I was shooting for them.
Really?
Yeah. So I swear we probably were standing next to each other at some
without
point.
even realizing it?
Yeah. Because when was this? 2018?
I think it was
19?
2017 to literally when the pandemic happened.
It was exactly when I was going all
really?
These raves, yeah.
You little rave girl?
Yeah, a little EDM
You're
girl.
tee-hee.
Little bass head.
we do love a good bass show.
Oh, yeah.
Me and Claire are the type where we'll go up to the rail and just break our neck.
Literally, we'll break our necks.
It doesn't seem like it right now because, we look kind of paused, kind of cute.
Literally what we're planning on doing tonight in London.
Literally. We're going to a ball pit bar and we're going to get crazy.
Anyways, you were working at Insomniac.
Yes.
You were basically producing all of these crazy festivals, finishing school. What happened after you finished school?
So after I finished school, so with the whole time I was doing Insomniac, I was probably 6 months LA, 6 months Pittsburgh, because I was kind of back and forth. So after college, I officially moved there full time. Well, I kind of kept moving back and forth in general, but that was officially full time. I'm in LA. I don't have to go back to Pittsburgh. There's nothing tying me there finally. So moved to LA, was still doing Insomniac. And then in between, since I was there full time, is when I started to dive back into acting and more production assistant roles on sets, and where I started to kind of rediscover my passion again for the film industry, because I knew it's always been there. It's just I kind of put it on hold to follow the music world for a brief moment, which I'm so happy that I did. I love the music world. But I realized wow, I really miss this. But what am I going to do? I love producing festivals. I love bringing a vision to life. Something's going to lead me to know exactly what that means. I know I want to be an actress. I know I want to produce and direct a feature film one day, but what what am I going to do before that that's going to help me lead up to that? So kind of just, again, like in LA, Insomniac, doing as many production assistant gigs as possible, going on auditions, some super sketchy. And that was kind of like my just like life for the first year of LA. First full-time year in LA.
And this was 2019?
Yeah, 2019.
Okay, so pandemic hits the next year.
Yes.
You're like in the swing of beginning your career. What happens there?
Yeah, so in a way, I mean, obviously the pandemic was horrible and I wish like it could have never happened, but in a way, for me, it completely shut down my work because I was in the events industry with Insomniac. So there were no more festivals. I think I worked like the last festival, Okeechobee in Florida, before everything, like the world was shut down. There was just no more work for me to do.
All the shows stop, obviously. Like everything
stopped.
that's production oriented, festivals, events, done.
Yes.
Where did that leave you? You had just graduated college. I imagine this was kind of a difficult place to be in. Like, I mean, yeah, you probably didn't even know what was going to happen next, but I know this is what kind of started the next chapter in your life.
Yeah, so that's why, like, in a way, again, it's horrible that it happened, but for me, it was kind of a blessing in disguise because I didn't realize that I was burnt out. The festival industry is very, very, well, the music industry in general is a very aggressive industry to be in terms of, like, your sleep schedule, you're just never sleeping.
Yeah.
Like, the Insomniac shows, we get in at like, I don't even know, maybe 10 a.m. and then we don't leave until 6 a.m. And then you have 4 hours of sleep and you have to go back and do it all over again. It's intense. So that was kind of like my life. I was very burnt out. I was in a living situation where I was like living with an ex and it was so stressful. And like my roommates at the time were just very interesting. I lived in like my friend's dead grandpa's house.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
you're like, maybe let's not do the petition.
No, I think this would be great.
Anyways, back to the pandemic being a blessing in disguise. That living situation was very stressful. I was burnt out from the music industry. And everything just kind of stopped. And I think my lease ended about 2 months after the world shut down. And I was going to move in somewhere else in LA. I didn't know where, but I kind of was like, okay, I thought the pandemic was only going to last like a summer, as I'm sure we all did. And I decided to literally like pack all my stuff from my apartment, put it in my friend's garage in LA, and just drive my car back to Pittsburgh. And I was like, I need a mental detox. I need a break. I need to reset. Like, I'm burnt out. This living situation is stressful. I need out. So I just drove. I sound kind of like impulsive, but I just decided the next day I'm going to move everything in my friends. And I just drove back across the country by myself.
Wow.
I think my friend came and met me in Denver because he was like, I'll drive with you. But yeah, I drove back to Pittsburgh, spent the summer there. And honestly, that's kind of where everything just completely changed. I met
the love of your life.
I met the love of my life, Jack Wardell. Shout out. He's over there. He's looking at me.
Also our producer.
Yeah. But no, I met Jack, who's my now boyfriend. And I almost stood him up on our first date. Because I was like so stressed out. I was like, I don't want to be in a relationship for like years. Like, guys are horrible. I was going through that mindset where I was like, I'm going to be a single girl and thrive and, I don't know, figure out my life without any guys involved. And then I met Jack and I was like, of course I would like it. It was the accent. It was. Yeah, he has an accent, ladies.
Speaking of accents, I think it's time to do our favorite segment.
Oh no.
Oh no. Yes. Oh yes.
Are we doing Shoot Your Shot?
Well, this is the Shoot Your Shot podcast, so we have to do the Shoot Your Shot segment.
Okay,
Georgia
fine.
Fowkes, who is your creator crush? And just to preface, we are not doing actors and celebrities. Don't tell me it's Harry Styles. Don't care.
Okay.
Who is your creator crush?
Okay. So by default, because I'm looking at him right now, it is my beautiful, wonderful, handsome boyfriend, Jack Wardell. Yeah, I know. Because I realized I said beautiful, and I was like, wait, you're handsome. I mean, you're beautiful too, but anyways.
You're beautiful, Jack.
No, but seriously, my creator crush now is obviously Jack. But let's just say there was a world where Jack didn't exist. I used to. I don't think I have a crush on him anymore because now I met Jack. But I used to have such a crush on Jacob Riglin.
Oh my gosh, no way.
Jack hates me right now. He's looking at me.
Way. You do have a type. I do love you, an English boy.
Okay, well, I didn't know that was my type. Like, I didn't think it was my type.
You like the white English boys.
I think I might.
Maybe.
Claire's like, I know him. I'm going to send him this.
Okay, so moving back to where you were at, pandemic.
Yes.
You were finding that you missed being behind the scenes.
Yes.
And
oh, I guess I should preface it with this. So, right before the pandemic started, is when I bought my first camera. This is actually very significant to the story. So, I want to say either 2018 or 2019, I can't exactly remember, but I decided that I wanted to get back into photography. I wanted to travel. I wanted to create content. And this was part of me trying to figure out, like, how can I make that a living? Like, where do I even start? So I got a credit card. I maxed it out. I got, like, the best camera at that time, which was the Canon EOS R. Well, there's a lot of best cameras, but that was, like, one of the newer releases. Woo! And then I also bought a one-way ticket to Europe. And I was like, this is before it was a thing. I was like, I bet I could go to hotels, offer photos, and I'm sure they would give me like a night or two in exchange. Like that in my head, I was like, that just makes sense. Like I'm giving them free marketing that probably cost them like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Well, now I realize like thousands of dollars, but back then I was like, oh yeah, they probably pay like hundreds of dollars to take some pictures. Like why not just give me a room for free? So went to Europe, had no idea how to use my camera. I like knew the idea of it, but I was shooting everything in auto, like all the hotel stuff. They had no idea. They thought I was so professional. I was like emailing like, yeah, like I'm a professional photographer.
Love this. You're such a hustler. It's so inspiring.
I think I just like see what I can like, what do they say? Like throw at the wall and see what sticks or something.
Yeah. You see opportunities and you take them.
Well, I try, but honestly, it's a lot of me like kind of faking it till you make it, which honestly is like the majority of this industry.
Yeah, 100%.
Anyway, so I did that, spent like a month in Europe working with all these hotels, using my camera, fell in love with it. And then that's when I came back and went back into the like music grind, because festivals are kind of like, they're a thing, but not really a thing for January and February. So that's considered more like our off months because it's colder everywhere in the world. So then now fast forward, pandemic, went home. So I have my camera. I had that taste of the travel life and met Jack, and I kind of just decided like I want to start a company. Like everything that I always want to do, like there's no other company. I don't find, like I just kept applying for jobs and I was like, I don't like necessarily everything about this job. I'm not like passionate about it. So why not try to create like my own job for myself? So thus then Elation was born.
That was how Elation was born.
Yeah.
This is exciting because I think everybody knows you now as the founder of Elation.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So tell us everything. How did this idea even come together? How did you come up with the name? What was, the business strategy and concept from the very beginning?
Yes. So I am really big, not to sound like hippie, but I'm really big on happiness in life. And my dad like instilled that in me growing up, like, and my mom too, like, do what makes you happy, do what makes you happy, be happy, be happy. And obviously happiness it's easier said than done to find what makes you happy and what really fulfills you. So it's not like, oh, you can just be happy. But I really believe if you are following what makes your soul like what sets your soul on fire and like what just gets you really excited to where you honestly can't even sleep the night before because you're just so excited for what's going to happen tomorrow, then that's like one of the keys like to life. Just like doing life how I feel like it should be, like doing whatever makes you happy. So with that, I wanted to have a name that kind of encompassed that just overall feeling. And I don't know, I thought of this word elated, and I was like, to be elated is to just like be like just truly like really ecstatically happy. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Like, what can I do with that? And I forget exactly how it happened, but I was just like throwing out random names with a friend one day, and Elation just got thrown out. And I was like, I really fuck with that. I was like, Elation. elation. And I just kept saying it in like all these different tones, like elation, elation, elation.
It's the raspy girl voice coming
back. The elation. So embarrassing. Jack's looking at me like, don't do that. So yeah, that's how Elation's name came about. The whole idea going into Elation at the start was I wanted to travel around the world, work with brands, create content for them, and essentially do like travel marketing campaigns. I felt like there was a gap in the market where everybody was kind of working separately and independently, like brands, influencers, tourism boards, just like travel industries in general, and even just like villas, Airbnbs, hotels. Like everybody was just kind of like doing this grind, but no one was doing it all together. And if people were trying to do these travel marketing campaigns together, like you had to go through like 7 different people to do it. Like there was nobody doing it just like a one-stop shop kind of thing.
Right.
So combining my event production skills, like creative director, creative producer skills, just travel, it's literally combining like everything that I love and what I'm good at. I was like, this is what I want to do. I just want to put on travel marketing campaigns for brands all around the world, eventually make friends that are really good at what they do, but we're also friends. So I can literally just hire them to come help shoot the content. Because eventually, even though I do photography and I do drone, I'm a drone pilot. I would rather just focus on the complete like production and direction, or creative direction and producing side of the trips and steer away from more of the filming. So essentially Elation is, we do travel marketing campaigns for brands. So if a brand wants to go somewhere super cool, we'll find the influencers or creators to join the trip. We'll also shoot the whole trip cinematically and then plan all the travel logistics to go wherever that brand wants to go. Bali, Iceland, I don't know, wherever.
Right. And you're using your like worldwide network to put this all together because you have this huge network now.
So that's just one thing. That's like our bright, shiny object of Elation. We also kind of like accidentally, but I actually really love that we accidentally did this. We have turned also into kind of like a management company where we manage artists, other creators like photographers, videographers, and we oversee jobs for them, or from my music experience, like booking gigs for artists. So that's another element. And then we also do like social media management. We do freelancing, photo, video, drone work. So it's kind of like a mix of a production company, but without directly saying that, while also doing really cool travel marketing campaigns, like a digital marketing agency.
Like a creative agency / production company.
Yeah, essentially. Very like simply put, yes.
Yeah. So cool. Wow.
I know.
And you're in year 2?
Yeah, so we just had year 2 in December, so now we're going into year 3.
Wow.
Which is crazy to think about.
So cool. Okay, so I have some questions for you. What was the biggest challenge of starting Elation as a company from the very get-go? Yeah,
I would say I didn't realize like how many hats, let's say, you have to wear. Like I had to, and I'm still learning it. Like I'm not like some like master at it. Like I still mess up and learn every day with it, which is honestly one of like the beautiful things about it. But you literally have to do everything. Like on top of the creative work, like the administration work, the legal work, like we've had to like write our own contracts and literally Google like how to write a contract and make sure it's legit.
Yeah.
And just watch a YouTube video on how to do that.
Yeah.
So I would say the biggest challenge has been just learning how to handle and balance all of those different hats, especially when it's just me, and Jack helps me out a lot too. And I would also say, to be more very specific with the challenge, is pricing.
Okay.
Jack and I would always struggle, like, how do we price things? Like, how do we know our worth? Like, how do we know if we're even good enough to get paid this price? I think we're in a much better place now where we are, because you kind of have to be like a little bit of a bitch, not too much of a bitch, but you have to be stern with your prices because people will take advantage of you.
You have to create boundaries.
Yeah, so I think that's perfectly said. I think one of the biggest challenges was how do we create boundaries, because we love giving and love just like making people happy, where we have to kind of like find that balance of, okay, but what are our boundaries? Like we can't keep just giving all of us, like we burn ourselves out and don't sleep.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And you guys are very giving people. Like you want to help everyone, so it's so sweet. But yeah, I
know, but sometimes
that.
It like bites us in the ass, and we're like, oh my god, why did we say we would edit like 10 reels when they only wanted one, and we're just being nice. Now we're sitting here up until like 4 a.m. just like.
Okay, so what is a favorite moment from starting a company? Like your top favorite moment. And I think I know what you're gonna say, but top favorite moment in the last 2-3 years of creating Elation.
I have 3, but I think the very first, there's so many. I would say the very first moment for me where I was just like, kind of how you explained yesterday, where you just had a moment where you're just crying happy. Mm-hmm. I think I had a moment of that when we did our first ever creator trip with a luxury travel agency. And we were able to invite all of these different creators that we didn't meet at the time, but in person, we just met through Instagram.
Was this Costa Rica?
No, this was Dominican Republic.
Oh, Dominican Republic. Okay.
Yeah. So we brought a bunch of creators together, and the trip was just amazing. We had so many different activities that we were doing for this agency because they wanted to fit in as much as possible. But the people just made that trip so good. I don't know. It was kind of like a full circle moment where I was like, wow, this is going to work.
Like, this is the dream. This is what you were dreaming of doing.
Yeah. And I just remember sitting there, I had a moment with myself where I had a little tear come out of my eye because I was just watching everybody laugh and enjoy themselves and have their little cameras. And I was like, I'm so happy right now.
That's cute. What is something that you're really looking forward to, or like a top goal for Elation?
Yes.
Dream goal.
Okay. We would love to have an Elation Creative house. Without going into too much detail with that, just having a place, not like a TikTok house. It's more centric around the actual creative business side of the industry. So that is a huge, huge goal for us that we are hoping to make happen by 2024. I'm kind of manifesting it too.
I can see it. I already know it's going to happen.
Yeah?
100%.
Okay.
I can see it.
I'm going to rub my crystal ring. Yeah, so that's a huge one. And then also I would say getting to a point where we can just consistently work with brands on travel marketing campaigns, at least once a month, bigger brands.
What is your number one advice or tip you would give to someone else starting a company, production company, creative agencies, anything in the creative industry?
Oh gosh. So, okay, I'm going to give advice on this one thing, and it's actually something that I have to remind myself all the time, but it's something that I've learned a lot with this is be patient. I am somebody where I get really excited over things, which is a good thing, but when it doesn't happen right away, or I'm I have to wait for it, I get so frustrated, and I'm I just want it to happen now.
Yeah.
I don't care. We need this right now, because I just get so excited. So I think the biggest lesson that I've learned from starting a company, and what I suggest to anybody, is just you have to be patient and trust the process. If you put in the hard work and you put in the attention and detail that's needed, it will happen.
Absolutely.
And it will happen how it's supposed to. It's better to let it happen as it is instead of rush it just because you're impatient.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree. And you also have to work through the hardest moments and be patient with those moments, because that's when all the good stuff starts happening. Even
when it feels like you just want to cry because you're it's not working, nothing's working. You just have to literally trust yourself. Yeah. And I think that's the hardest thing to do in life is for us to trust ourselves as humans. Especially
as creators.
It's so hard because you look at people and you're they're doing so good, or social media shows all the good things and never the bad things. And you just have to remind yourself, we all have moments where shit hits the fan. It sucks. We might be alone. We might be crying by ourselves because we're we're never going to make it.
Yeah.
And then next week we're all fine.
And success is not linear.
Yeah.
Success is up and down and up and down and down, 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 super high, super low. There is no linear success. And it's okay to have these ups and downs, especially when starting a company. I
was going to say that's very perfectly said. Because I feel even if you, let's say, quote unquote, make it, whatever that means to you, you're still going to have that same up and down, up and down.
Totally. Okay, so now going back to you, Georgia.
Yes.
I want 2 interesting facts about you that people might not know about.
Interesting facts? Oh my God. Okay. I know I said this earlier, but I'll say it again. I am a drone pilot. I have my drone license.
Yes, so badass.
And I'm currently learning FPV to get better at it because there's no females in the industry that are really doing FPV. So I kind of want to hopefully get really good and
I love it.
And tap into that market. Interesting fact number 2. I play tennis.
Oh, okay, cool.
Was that interesting though?
No.
Oh. She said no, that wasn't interesting.
It's like I go on jogs in the morning.
I guess, yeah, you're right. That wasn't that good.
I like coffee.
I like matcha.
Sorry, I just roast her sometimes.
Yeah, she does. She does. I don't know another interesting one. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay. There's got to be a cool, interesting fact about you.
I mean, there probably is. I just can't think of it right now. Jack hit my own boyfriend. Can't even think of something interesting about me.
That's so bad. That's so bad. Okay, maybe that's not the right question.
It's fine. I'm a drone pilot and I play tennis. So interesting.
Was there any unexpected challenge or unexpected experience starting a company?
You know, there was. So when we did our first ever trip to Tulum, I'm not gonna give like too much information because I don't want to get canceled because this.
Oh my gosh, I know. This is starting off so good.
No. It's just something that I never knew. I never even thought of this would be a problem. So we went to Tulum. It was one of our first things. Like an app paid for us to do a trip with them, and we got a bunch of creators. One of the creators that we had on that trip, like or let's say influencer. One of the influencers we had on that trip, I want to say maybe like 6 months later after the trip, ended up getting canceled. So we had to take down all of our content that they were in because we started getting people, which we didn't even think would happen, like people commenting on our Elation Instagram saying like, I can't believe you did something with this person. Like, oh my God. I had no idea that would ever be an issue because when we went on the trip with this person, like everything was fine. Like everything was good. Like literally no issue at all. But obviously like media and everything, like people get canceled like all the time.
Did that affect your relationship with the hotel or the company that you worked with?
No. Because
it was so far past.
It was so far past. But just for us being able to repurpose, because that was our first ever like trip we did.
Right.
So we were so excited about the content and wanted to use that to like push and leverage us.
Yeah.
And we just couldn't do it.
Oh, that's such a bummer.
I know. So that's something that we then realized we have to be mindful of if we're going to be working with, because we work with people who aren't influencers, but a lot of the work that we do involves influencers too, because like companies just like to have influencers involved, obviously. So just something that we realized we're gonna have to be mindful of, like as we move forward in a company.
Yeah.
And it was just so, I just couldn't believe like our little Elation Instagram account, like 1,000 followers, was getting like hate comments, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, archive posts.
As long as they're hate following.
Hate follow.
Wow. Okay, that was a good one. Cool. Well, I think that's a wrap. I think that's well, thank you so much for sharing about you. You're such a hustler and I love it. And I appreciate you sharing all of this. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Shoot Your Shot Podcast.
Yes, make sure you follow us at Shoot Your Shot Podcast _
on Instagram, TikTok. Oh God.
Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Just look us up on social media. We're probably going to be there.
I mean, if you have to hate follow, I guess like do it. But if
still
you
maybe give us like
follow,
a little 5-star hate
too. We appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. See you next time.
Bye.
Why am I so awkward? Oh my God.
It's fine.
I need to go.
Bye.
Shoot your shot. Shoot your shot.